Hi, welcome to today's episode of A Couple of Things. We're on episode 108, and today I'm going to be sharing about a new thing that I've been doing. I've been challenging myself to be more creative, and I started doing more visualizations, and it's really interesting and exciting for me. And yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Stick around. A few episodes ago, I talked about wanting to become more creative and doing more creative things. Earlier in the week, today's just Thursday, but Tuesday and Wednesday, I virtually joined a UX research conference. And on a whim, I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to walk the walk and stop talking and just saying I want to do this and I want to do that. And so I decided that I was going to do sketch notes, which is basically visual notes of the talks, instead of how I usually make my notes, which is I would just write out what they were saying. And normally if I was going to do something like this, I would have spent some time watching a lot of YouTube videos about like how to do sketch notes, read blog posts, read articles, how to guide, those kinds of things. But this time it was literally 1 minute into the first talks, like before the first talk started, that I decided that I was going to do the visual notes or the sketch notes or whatever you want to call it. So here I am, having never ever, at least not that I can remember, created a sketch note or a visual note of anything. I always just write my notes normally, or quote unquote normally. And I have seen visual notes, I've seen sketch notes, I've seen so many of them. I've watched YouTube videos where people are sketching out a topic, a concept to explain it, and I've seen talk summaries done visually, which is where I started thinking about that from. But not recently, anyways. But anyway, so I decided 1 minute into this first talk at the conference to visualize my notes instead of just writing them. And to be honest, I wasn't sure what I was doing. I just started doing it. And I finished the first one and it wasn't bad. I was like, wow, okay, this is not bad. This is nice. And then after that, I decided to watch some videos and scan through some articles on visual note taking. And I'm glad I did, because doing that after doing the first one was kind of affirming, because I think if I had first watched all the videos and things, I would have been more anxious about starting, and I would have felt like I wasn't ready, and I needed to spend more time watching videos and reading articles and how to guides and all of those things. But I think just starting was very helpful for me and put me in this frame of mind where I'm actually already doing this thing and I can continue to improve. But the funny thing that happened was, in the evening, after I had posted all my sketch notes from the conference, I saw another sketch note. Like somebody had done a sketch note for an entirely different talk. And I was like, wow, my sketch notes are so bad compared to this person's sketch notes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing it again. In fact, I actually texted my husband and I was like, I'm not doing this again. Like, my work is so bad compared to what this person has done. And of course, I didn't mean that I wasn't going to do it again. I was definitely going to continue. But in that moment, I was like, wow, I still have such a long way to go in terms of like the concept of sketchnoting and how to actually visualize your thoughts and your ideas. But I was able to take some learnings from my first day and seeing that other one and apply that into my second day of sketchnoting. And I think I actually prefer the ones from day two. I think they're nicer, they're bolder, they're easier to read. And I definitely learned how to do it better. And I know that as I continue to sketch my notes, as I continue to make that effort, I will continue to get better with practice. I think that this is aligned or in line with what I said or shared a couple of episodes back about how I've been feeling like I want to do more creative things and be more creative in how I express myself. And I'm very happy that I'm doing that. In my last newsletter, last week, Thursday, and the one this week, I actually illustrated the concepts that I wanted to visualize myself, because I had searched for images. Last week's was actually very funny because I had searched for images to represent what I was trying to say, but I couldn't find anything useful. And I was using Substack's image generator tool, which is actually terrible. It's one of the worst ones I've seen. And ChatGPT has removed DALI and is now only accessible via the ChatGPT. Sorry, OpenAI has removed DALI as a standalone product and is now part of ChatGPT, which I didn't want to pay for. And for some reason, my Gemini is refusing to generate images. So I was like, well, this is a job that I have to figure out myself. And I actually liked how it turned out, like when I did the visuals for the last one. And so I decided that for this week's episode as well, I'm going to try to visualize it myself. And I also like how that turned out. And I really had to think about what is the best way to visualize what I'm trying to say, especially because I'm not particularly like a skilled artist and I can draw and make things, at least not yet. So, what is the simplest way that I can represent this concept that I'm trying to explain? And yeah, it's been really great to challenge myself in this way, and I will definitely continue doing this. And I will include the links to the newsletters as well as all the sketch notes. And if you check them out, let me know what you think. Thanks for listening today. Bye. Before I say bye, I guess this is where I challenge you to try something that you've been saying you want to try for a while and haven't actually tried, in line with yesterday's episode on exploring new interests. So, yeah, do something that you haven't done yet that you're thinking about starting. It doesn't have to be creating something, it could be doing some new kind of exercise, including something new in your daily routine, whatever it is. So go out there and do nice things and see how it turns out for you. Thanks for listening. Bye, for real, for real. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you found anything insightful, interesting, or you enjoyed this episode, please do share. And remember to like, if you can, wherever you listen to your podcasts, leave a comment, subscribe, so you get the future episodes. Thanks. Before you go, this is a reminder that you can ask me to talk about a specific topic or answer a question that you have by filling the form in the show notes to submit your suggestion or question. Bye.